Good morning. This is Seeker the Scuffed coming at you live with Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, as well as really loud background noise. Unfortunately, I cannot do anything about that, so we're just gonna have to deal with it. It's been going for a while though. I imagine it would stop by the top of the hour. I mean that's quite a while, but like I said, can't do anything about it. So we're just gonna have to deal with it. Now, last time we just got to the first break in this simulation trial, which is probably just the real trial. I don't imagine they're going to pull a second one in, though that would be pretty cool. Some things to consider. We're not doing this tomorrow, unless I'm like really into it. Tomorrow is going to be our Splatoon stream, because there's a big event happening, and I'd like to show at least a little bit of it. And what else do we have on the agenda? I don't think anything else. Yeah, that's it. So, let's go ahead and unmute this game. There we go. You know, just a little bit quieter than the background noise. At least on my end. But yeah, let's hop right into it, yeah? Hope you guys aren't too bothered by it. Oh, no, we didn't end the trial. Well, we got to a break in the trial. Alright. Let's see. Voices. We got to do these again. Are we still going to be doing Brushel voice? I think we're done with him as a witness. We'll probably have to do him one more time. Okay. So, where exactly does this leave us, Apollo? Well, the Drew Misham who was killed wasn't Drew Misham the Forger, basically. Huh? Well then, who was he? Well, he was actually... Oh. Oh no, this is not new music. I thought it was for a second. My audio on my end is really messed up by this background audio. I hope it's fine for you guys. I keep saying that, and I really mean it. Doing her nails. So, you really made those forgeries? Yes, for Father. I know, it was wrong. Could you tell us about how it happened? My father was a painter. I loved painting ever since I was a child. One day, Father saw it in me. He saw that I had the talent. The talent for making forgeries? How should I say it? It was not only paintings I made. Given the materials, I could make anything. Anything? Father was so proud, and I so happy. But, in the end, I was making those forgeries. I've never had a good constitution, nor personality. I know very little of the world outside my door. Now, because of me, Father is... Do you know about this red envelope? I remember that envelope. It was some time ago. So, you were already, you were already creating your works back then? I started when I was only 12 years old. So, the one who figured out the stamp was poison, that was... Mr. Justice, it's time. To the courtroom, please. Right. Out of time. Wait, Vera, just one more thing, please. Those 3 paintings in the studio. I painted those as part of my work. Right. See, we checked them out and we saw what was underneath. We saw the rough sketches underneath the 3 finished paintings. Bit redundant, yeah? I see. Mr. Justice? Yes? Father, he knew of you. Of both of you. Your late father? He was watching, gathering information. All about the Wright & Co. law offices. But lately we're not doing just law. Yes, you do tricks, gags to amuse, and play piano. Well, they're not really gags. Yet, when Father heard you had resumed a legal business, how pleased he was. Who was Mr. Measham? How am I supposed to know? What if he was Daddy's daddy? Judging from the relative ages involved, I'd say it's highly unlikely. Things are already confusing enough with all these daddies running around. We know that the victim's daughter, Vera, was the forger. What does this mean for the case? Guess we're about to find out. Court is now back in session. Vera seems pretty tense. She's practically chewing her fingernails clean off. Perhaps you could begin by telling us how it all worked. How did you set up this Drew Measham forger persona? There's that stare again. She's drilling more holes into his head. I know it's hard for you, but hey, he's a handsome guy. What's hard? Very well, miss, if you would. Oh, and just in time, that background noise is gone, finally. I thought we were going to have to put it with that for quite a while longer. Did you really make those detestable forgeries? Perhaps you'd rather answer my question. Were you the one who painted that painting? The remarkably similar one? Ah, yes. I painted it, yes. Father praised me quite highly for it. So, she was the one who made the forgeries. Yet, she did not wish to reveal the truth of their operation. So the victim was a stand-in, a decoy. To the world at large, he was the forger, not her. I've done a bad thing. I have, haven't I? Regardless, we need a little more information. About, for instance, this. You have seen this before, yeah? Yes, it was in the desk drawer. Very well, you may proceed with your testimony. Tell us everything you know about this envelope. I created things and Father sold them. This envelope came after my first work. That was other than a painting. Father handled the deal, all of it. I feel like I'm having an issue with her, like, stammering. I received the stamp that was in that envelope. It was after that job that we moved to the current studio. There certainly was much of great interest in your testimony. Not that the witness realizes it. Very well, please begin the cross-examination. Right, okay. I need more information about this forger. This Drew Measham. Alright, well I think I know a good starting point. Oh, I hit the wrong button, didn't I? Oh no, she just always draws that, okay. Yeah, this right here, we need to press this. You mean you moved to where the current Drew studio is? Yes, we saw very few people there. I began drawing picture books. This single job had tied them to the criminal underworld. I'd think Mr. Measham wished to reduce their visibility in the world at large. When we had to meet someone for some reason, Father posed as the creator of the work. So that was the real essence of the artist Drew Measham. You did the work and he supplied the face. The red envelope came after she completed her first job. That makes it a letter from her client, whoever wanted a forgery made. Apollo! We're close. We just had to piece together the parts. A deadly weapon in the red envelope, and the path it took to take Drew Measham's life. Alright, I thought it was going to go in a different direction than that, hence my confidence. Let's see. Well, I guess let's press on the stamp. What do you mean you received it? Did I do something wrong? You didn't use that stamp because it was dangerous, correct? Deadly poison on the back? Atroquinine? A moment, Herr Forehead. You can't force an answer upon the witness. Now then, perhaps you would tell me, Fräulein Vera? Why did you receive the stamp? Is something wrong? It was beautiful. Ah, you mean it was one of those commemorative stamps? Yes, I think it was. So, you didn't know about the poison? I guess not. So, the trap failed by chance, by mistake, thanks to this commemorative stamp. Quite the close call. Oh, I think this is going to be a press everything situation if that's the direction they're going with that extension. So we'll start from the front. We'll start from the top, work our way through. So these things you were making, you mean paintings identical to other paintings, right? The closer they were, the happier Father was. I was happy too. Still, you're quite young now. When did you begin this work? My first painting sold when I was 12. Your Honor, she had no idea what she was doing was illegal. Apollo, that's irrelevant. This is a murder trial, not a fraud trial. Calm down. Easy there, little attorney. You're not here to defend her for the crime of forgery. Oh, exactly. Thank you, Gavin. True. Please, tell us more about this envelope. This envelope that may very well have killed your father. All right. By other than a painting, you mean you'd only done paintings up to that point? Yes. But Father had a realization. He noticed my talent extended to making things other than paintings. For instance, a letter someone had written, or a fingerprint left upon a cup, or a signature on a document, a seal upon a letter. None of this makes her sound very innocent at all. And the $100,000 promised in this letter was the start. The beginning of a new industry for Drew Misham. A new industry? The creation of items to be used in criminal proceedings. Forging evidence, in other words. Uh-oh. So, you really didn't know anything, did you? You had no idea how much danger you were in. Apparently not. About this commemorative stamp, could you tell us more about it? It was very pretty, and more than that, yes, it was a picture of people I liked at the time. This is something new. I'm gonna say this is a very quiet trial, or at least a segment of the trial. The music has been very chill, and we have lots of silent breaks due to the witnesses' speech patterns. Apparently, we've got some cross-examination yet ahead of us. If you would be so kind as to continue your testimony, Fräulein. You see what I mean? It's so quiet. The stamp was a picture of my favorite magicians, so I kept it. Ooh, I don't think I have anything. Well, I'm not going to present anything on that. I'm going to press it first. But notably, I do have these two pieces of evidence that are relevant to it. Not sure which one to use, though. Magicians. I love mysterious things. I always have. Even though she fainted when she saw Mr. Hat, you're confusing mysterious with freaky. Father took me when I was very young. It was a great magic show. I loved it so much. See? Isn't magic great? Fine, great, yeah, sure. No need to get all excited. But the magic troupe we saw disbanded soon after. I was quite sad. Did she just say what I think she said? Magic troop? Now, where have I heard that before? Oh, this is the ending dialogue. Alright. So, do I present the ticket or the envelope? I wonder. If only I could present people in this game. That would make it quite a bit easier. Or at least for this part specifically. Let's see. I'll use the ticket. Yep, there we go. And those magicians you liked. Was it this bunch? Apollo, they're not a bunch. I see. Still, I have to wonder, why include a commemorative stamp like that in a business letter? Good question. Well, printing stamps are always better, and you can't beat Troop Gramarye. But the whole murder plan was a failure because of it. Ironic, don't you think? Prosecutor Gavin? I wonder if, when we find the stamp, because we're obviously going to, if it's going to be like a misprint or something, or like a first edition, and that's going to connect it to Valant. I think Valant is our most likely candidate for murderer in this case. But at the same time, I don't have any information on the trial from 7 years ago, so I can't say for certain. It could be someone else entirely. And Valant could be our, like, defendant, maybe? Well, no, I guess if he was a defendant, we'd have to have multiple trials in one chapter. Which I still think is quite likely, but we'll see. Prosecutor Gavin? Gramarye? What's with Gavin? Might I ask just one question of this witness? In your testimony just now, you stated this was your first work that was other than a painting. Please tell me, what exactly did you make? Can I ask why? No. Answer the question. Now. Yeah. Oh, I like her socks. Prosecutor Gavin, you're usually not the one whose volume concerns me. Yes, it is unbecoming of me. I apologize. But I must know. Please, Miss Measham, tell me. It was a book. A single page in a book. A book? Please be more specific. It was a handwritten book, like a diary. No, I don't... No. 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 What's wrong with Prosecutor Gavin? He looks like he just saw a ghost. Miss Measham, this book. Was there a picture of a silk hat on the back cover? Yes or no? Ooh, I'm slipping out of his voice. How? How did you know? Prosecutor Gavin, the defendant is answering all of your questions. Stop badgering her. He's told you nothing, has he? Your soiled, sullied mentor? Nothing? Sullied who? Phoenix Wright. Who else? Daddy? He never told you about the trial 7 years ago? About how he came to lose his attorney's badge? It was a certain piece of evidence that decided his fate, you know. A certain diary. On the back, it bore the mark of a silk hat. What? Phoenix Wright tossed out of the profession by false evidence. Oh man, I read that wrong. And the forger who made that evidence. Is this girl standing right in front of me? Vera, you must tell us. The evidence you made was used in a trial 7 years ago. Who asked Drew Measham, you, to forge that evidence? For all of our sakes. Who was it? Wow, not even dialogue there. This is such a quiet trial. Like, is this something that people, like, talk about? I hope it is. This is, like, jarring. We only met once. You... you met the client? Well, who was it? It was... It was... What's going on with Vera? She's staring at Prosecutor Gavin's face again. Yes? What? Is there something about me? I remember clearly. I remember who gave me the book. The diary. Who was it? Vera. Oh, she felt like a plank. The devil. Thump. I don't know. If I thump the microphone, will it actually make a thumping sound? I don't think so. Defendant Vera Measham. Condition: unconscious. Examiner's diagnosis: acute atroquinine poisoning. Oh. This ends the recording of the trial for the murder of Drew Measham. Vera Measham was, during the trial, poisoned by an unknown assailant. The dosage was just under the lethal amount, sparing the defendant's life. She is currently in intensive care and not to be disturbed for any reason. A very simple case, at first glance, until it finally began to show its true colors. The long road of the truth takes us to the record of another trial. Oh, yes, we get young Phoenix. I need to get a voice for young Phoenix ready. In some ways, that was the starting point of it all. Ooh, and young Gavin. And that is where we must go. Oh, and younger Trucy. Oh, how am I going to voice that? Okay, to find the whole truth. Anyway, the atroquinine that was used on Vera, it's probably in her fingernail polish, considering we got to see the bottle, or not the bottle, but the brush for it, like 3 times close up. And she was chewing her nails right at the beginning of the trial. But then the question is, how long has the poison been there? Showdown time. Oh, we're back to this. Alright. Are we going to flash back through all the trials so far? I lost. It's only a game of poker. A game I've played for a long time, and only lost twice. Who was the first? The man I killed, of course. Okay, this is Phoenix. Well, it seems I found the partner I've been looking for all along. Over a game of cards? Why, yes, over a game of cards. Anyway, I think I did a... Oh, that was how we first met, 7 years ago. Alright, this is gonna be good. Oh, it's so bright. Oh, my eyes. Alright. Courtroom looks, Oh, this is defendant lobby number 2 instead of number 3. Alright. Wait, do we usually go to number 2? I don't remember. Anyway, let's get started. Whoa. Okay, it's been a long time since I felt like such a rookie. Now try and relax. Good morning, Mr. Enigmar. I'm sorry to have sprung this on you so suddenly. I received the files from your previous attorney only yesterday. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure I'm prepared. I understand I am asking the impossible of you. Yes, well, you haven't really told me what happened yet. All we did was play cards. And that was enough. Actually, it wasn't. Trust me. Oh, morning, Daddy. Okay, you know, before we get to trying to do this, I think we're just going to give her the standard Trucy voice. Let's check the court record real quick. Okay, let's check the people first. We have Shady. Okay, Shady Enigmar. Usually goes by Zach Grammary. That. Shady Enigmar. And he looks just like Shady Smith from the first chapter. I wonder if they're the same person. They probably are. We'll see. In Magnifi Gremory, he was shot while in the hospital. Alright. Let me check the rest of the court record. There's a hole in the clown and him. Open bag. Open diary with a page torn out. His IV's been pulled. Syringe on desk still closed. And a... I'm not sure what type of pistol that is, but a pistol. What do we got here? Loss of blood? Excuse me. In the head? And a malignant tumor in the liver. Alright. Really, that hole caused him to die from blood loss. That must have... I mean, I guess maybe the clown slowed it down? We'll find out. Ah, I'm so glad you came. You okay, Daddy? They picking on you? Haha. No, I'm fine, as always. This old boy is here to help me after all. That's young man to you. Good morning. That's a cute outfit you have there on. Thanks. My first show's today, after all. Oh, I'm sure it is. What the heck is she talking about? Oh, old boy. Huh? Me? Look when he started. Oh, wait, no, that's her talking. Well, that's fine. Here. Okay, let's see. It seems fate's clock will make me wait a little longer. At least only less than 10 swift minutes remain. To all those who have supported me in my life's work, I give my thanks. Farewell, Magnifi Gremory. So this is the faked piece of evidence, and he does not know about it. Got it. And what's this? I don't know. I just got it over there in the hall. They told me to give it to the old boy in the blue suit with the spiky hair. They said it was really important. What's this? A memo for you or some such? Not from the looks of it. What is this? It looks like a page from someone's diary. I'll give it a read later. Can I inspect it? Let's see if we can. No, I cannot. Well, not 3D at least. Why is it folded like that? I mean, oh, I guess it was ripped out and then folded. Well, how do you feel about the trial today? We'll get through it, somehow. Incidentally, the prosecutor today is a new guy, I hear. Ah, an easy win then, yes? They're calling him a true thoroughbred in the history of the prosecutor's office. Of course, there's one of those every year. The switching of attorneys just before the trial. I know it is a difficult situation I put you in, but let me say one thing, Mr. Wright. Yes? They will not be able to pronounce me guilty today. So, do your best, but do not worry. First time a defendant's ever given me a pep speech. I'll do what I can. Ha 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 ha! I see you do not understand. You see, it will be impossible for them to declare a verdict. Impossible? Yes. Isn't that right, Trucy? Yep, you bet, Daddy. My first look at the case was only yesterday, and the information I was given was a tad bit lacking, to be honest. Still, I'll do what I can, for their sake. Oh, is he gonna pull a disappearing act in the middle of the trial? Is this Trucy's first show? She's gonna make him disappear? Reappear, like, 7 years later as Shady Smith? Yeah? I believe the curtains will be lifting any time now. I am in your capable hands, Mr. Wright. My client is Shady Enigmar, known to the world as Zack Gremory, a wildly popular magician, star of Troupe Gremory. His mentor, Magnifi Gremory, was a rare breed of magician. He single-handedly ushered in a golden age of stage magic, until he was shot dead. And Zack Gremory is a suspect. Court is now in session for the trial of Shady Enigmar. Is it just me, or is this courtroom really bright, compared to usual? The defense is ready, Your Honor. Which Gavin is this, I wonder? Is the prosecution ready? I mean, I have a feeling I think it's Clavier, but you can't be sure. I was just thinking, is this what all the fuss is about? Bit of a buzzkill, really. Buzzkill? Is this some new kind of crime? One of the worst. This is a trial, yeah? Or the sweaty palms, the pounding hearts? The Gaviner's concert got 10 times the thrill this gig's got. Who, were you again? Clavier Gavin. I came to get the party started. Legally, yeah? Gavin? Defense attorney Christoph Gavin's... Ah, figures my bro's more famous in this part of town. Clavier Gavin. Lead singer for the mega hit band The Gaviners. You're out of your league, rock boy. I know what you're thinking. You're out of your league, rock boy. True, my debut single, 13 Years Hard Time for Love, went platinum overnight, but that's just a hobby to me compared to this, yeah? Talkative, aren't you? I like your affected Euro-rock accent, by the way. I'm just getting warmed up, Herr Attorney writes. Perhaps you would be so kind as to fill us in on the case. Achtung, baby. Time to call on the opening acts. What was his name again? Ah, yes. Detective Gumshoe. Hit it. Oh, we finally get Gumshoe. I've been suffering from Gumshoe withdrawals. Oh, look at him and all his... Did they not give him a new sprite? And you are? Hey, you were the one who called me up here, sir. Name's Dick Gumshoe. Hold on, let me look at this guy. Is this the exact same sprite? It seems lower resolution than everything else around him. Hold on, let me see. Yeah. Huh. How odd. I'm a homicide detective down at the precinct, see? Detective Gumshoe. Long time no see. Hey, you. Huh? Me? Today's the day, pal. Today I win, and you lose. I got confidence in my testimony today, see? What? You normally lack confidence in your testimony? Herr Detective, this is my stage. Can the antics. Huh? All this hey-youing and such. And I could care less about your history together. Very well. Detective Gumshoe, if you would, please tell us about the case at hand. Oh, classic music, nice. I don't know, maybe it's just because the screen is brighter and we get all these classic characters, I'm feeling more talkative. Or maybe it's just because there's no tension right now. It happened 6 days back in a room at the General Hospital. The facts are as simple as they come. Here's the crime scene. The victim was a patient, asleep in a hospital bed. The killer comes in, puts a pistol to his forehead, and bam, lights out. Them's the facts. Not so long ago, the victim Magnifi Grammary was a famous man. He had an entire country under his magical spell, as it were. Ah, yes, the great magician. He retired years ago, though. Oh man, I had to burp in the middle of that. Say the name Magnifi to one of my generation, and you'd be lucky to get a blank stare. Yes, though I'm sure the youngsters today know his disciples even better. I dare say Troop Grammary has made quite a name for themselves. Anyhow, the retired Magnifi's been in a hospital for the last year. What was it? Mal-ignorant tutor for something? Doing something to his liver, I think. Yeah. A malignant tumor, perhaps? In other words, he had liver cancer. He had only 3 months left to live, in fact. The facts do seem simple enough, but something's not right. The victim was already climbing a 3-month stairway to heaven. Why not wait for him to knock on heaven's door? Why shoot him? I wouldn't have put it quite so lyrically, but it's true. Why make the effort to commit murder when the victim was about to die? Incidentally, the victim had a serious case of diabetes. Diabetes? In fact, he was about to shoot up with insulin when he was shot with a pistol. The syringe was found at the scene of the crime. Chronic diabetes and cancer. As much as it pains me to say it, the victim was clearly at the end of his life. Alright. I don't think I need to view that in 3D model. I believe the question before us is clear then. Why did the killer have to shoot this dying man? What reason could he have had? Very well, detective. Perhaps you can enlighten us as to the circumstances of the shooting. Yes, sir. Actually, the victim kind of ordered the defendant to do him in. A few days before it happened, the victim sent a letter ordering his own murder. The defendant did what was asked of him and shot the old man in the forehead. The bullet was fired from the pistol found at the scene, no doubt about it. And the pistol definitely belonged to the old man, sir. Are we about to get, like, our third lecture on ballistic markings, perhaps? I have a feeling that's coming up. What? You're saying the victim ordered his own shooting? Those are the facts. I have the letter here in question. To my beloved Zack, to you I entrust the task of lowering my life's curtain. Oh, I didn't get to read it all. No, we can read it now. Very unusual indeed. Let's give it a read. My beloved student, Zack, to you I entrust the task of lowering my life's curtain. Come on the 13th, 11:05 p.m. I will ready a gun with which you will shoot, one shot, square in the forehead. You cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why. Magnifique Gramarye. Alright. Although, could such a thing as a letter really cause one to pull a trigger, I wonder? I believe the answer to that question can be found at the end of the letter. Ah, you cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why. Detective Gumshoe, can you explain this to the court? Oh, unfortunately, even the defendant won't say a peep about that bit, sir. One thing bothers me about this. Why didn't he just say 11? Why have him come at 11:05 without some specific reason? The devil is in the details, Herr Attorney. Well, was there some reason? As it turns out, there was. Every night, for half an hour, starting at 11 o'clock, the victim, Magnifique Gramarye, was given an IV. An IV? There it is in the picture, off to the side of the bed. At 11 o'clock, the doctor would come to set up the IV. 30 minutes later, he would come back for the empty bag. This happened every night without fail. So that was the only time they could meet without the chance of an untimely interruption. During his IV. Very well, shall we begin? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you would. What's this reason he couldn't refuse, I wonder? He could have at least mentioned it to me. Alright, it's been a while since I saw the rest of the... Oh, wait. Yeah, let's see. What do we need to check? You know, let's see. Are we gonna get our, like, third or fourth lecture on ballistic markings? Let's go. You mean the pistol? This pistol? The one in the crime scene photo? Well, that's the one. It's a funny-looking gun, so there's no mistake in it. We compared the bullet taken from the victim's skull with the bullet fired from this gun. The rifling marks on the bullets were a perfect match. So, you verified the murder weapon, in other words. You bet we did. Oh, look at that. We didn't get the lecture on it this time. How nice. Let's see. Why are you so certain? What piles of sand has your head been stuck in all this time, pal? You never heard of Zack and Valen's quick draw shoot 'em? Huh? What's that? One of the defendant's specialties. They're still covering up her insignia, so I think it is diamonds. Zack and Valent stand on either side of a girl. Then they shoot. But the bolts don't hit her. Instead, they hit everything else on stage. This was one of the pistols they used in their show. What a great design, huh? The kids love it. Many boys and girls join the police because of that pistol, I hear. You know, that would explain a lot about the police force. I feel like I gave him Apollo's voice there. Not that there's much difference. Troop Gramarye stopped doing that act a while ago. The old man held onto that pistol ever since. The court would like to see the pistol in question. You got it, sir. Here she is. Well, this is truly a blast from the past. The stage pistol for magic shows, see? But it can fire real bullets. It looks so much bigger in real life than on TV. Yeah, but it can only hold one round. By the way, the pistol's firing chamber is empty, and it shows traces of having been fired recently. So, were any fingerprints found on the gun? Unfortunately, no. Of course, the defendant is known for wearing gloves. We might say that a lack of fingerprint is, in fact, a fingerprint of its own. Aha! Intriguing point. Well made. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Not well made, not intriguing. In any case, the court accepts this evidence. Alright, I think I might have to inspect that one in 3D. My grandchild will get a kick out of seeing this. Let's check it. Anything notable? No. Alright. But now it's time to return to our testimony. I didn't have time to gather all the details before coming here. The testimony might be my only source of information. I better pay attention and read this letter carefully. Oh, is that a useful hint? I was not looking at this. Let's see. At least only less than 10 swift minutes remain. So he was writing, so assuming this was real, which it's not, he was writing this just before what happened. I think I might just have to keep pressing. And this letter was sent by the victim? There it is, gotcha. You're all mine this time, pal. Huh? I had the handwriting checked out, of course. It's the victim's, no mistake. Ah, I see. Ha 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 ha! Score 1 for the boys. I didn't lose, I was just ascertaining the facts. So why am I so annoyed? But a letter ordering your own death? Things aren't what they used to be, I guess. I'm not sure this is exactly commonplace even now, Your Honor. So anyway, guess I'll keep going while I'm ahead. How can you be so sure? Hey, you gotta learn to stop relying on people to do your thinking for you, pal. Learn to think for yourself. Get that noggin cranking. You fail to grasp the concept of a questioning detective. First, we got this letter. It says, shoot in the forehead, loud and clear. I can see that, but I still wouldn't do it. Well, maybe you need to grow yourself a backbone, pal. You fail to grasp the concept of shooting people as bad, detective. We also found the defendant's pistol at the scene. Traces of gunpowder residue show that it had been fired recently. You've said this already. I've said this already. Well, Mr. Wright? Ooh. You guys hear that clicking? Well, as far as I can tell from looking at this photo, there seems to be no issue with the prosecution's claim. The photo. Maybe there's something there I can use. So what they're saying the defendant shot the victim in the forehead. I think there's a hole in the prosecution's argument. Clearly, Mr. Enigmar shot something else. Yeah, the clown. Looking at the photo, another possibility occurs to me. Yes? What does the letter tell us? That the defendant had a reason he couldn't refuse his teacher's wishes. Bingo, pal. And that's why the defendant popped him one in the forehead. Oh? The defense disagrees. You see, the defendant had another choice he could make. What, and you can prove that with this photo? I can prove he had a choice, yes. The defendant might have fired like he was ordered, but he didn't shoot the victim's forehead. Well, let's hear what you're thinking, Mr. Wright. If he didn't shoot the victim's forehead, what did the defendant shoot? Well, he was pointing here, and then he turned away here. Right, hit Y. I've been playing other games recently, so a bit fumbling the controller a bit. The clown doll. Take a closer look. See? It's been shot in the forehead too. Ah, there's a hole in the forehead. Oh, bad delivery. Yes, and the hole and a hole in the prosecution's claim. Huh. And I suppose you have a reason as to why he'd shoot the clown doll? He didn't just shoot the doll, he shot the doll's forehead. His forehead? Ah. Let's read the orders once more, shall we? You will shoot one shot square in the forehead, which is exactly what he did. He shot the clown doll square in the forehead. The defense has raised an intriguing possibility. That hole in the clown's forehead. It definitely looks like it was shot. Bailiff, send someone to investigate this matter. Why was it not investigated already? We have it in the photo. I admit I'm impressed, but I expected nothing less. Still, this doesn't mean that he didn't shoot the victim. Oh man, it's been a while since I heard a Phoenix objection. Perhaps he did have to shoot the forehead as ordered, but the letter says nothing about whose forehead. This was the only way he had to follow his orders without taking a life. The bullet hole in the clown doll's forehead does demand an explanation. It might very well be a clue, yet Prosecutor Gavin is right. It alone does not prove the defendant's innocence. You cannot say for sure that the defendant didn't shoot the victim. So sorry, Mr. Wright. How sad it is to see the mighty fall. How sad it is to see the novice's overconfidence. He doesn't realize just how big this little hole is going to get. Detective Gumshoe, please take this newfound fact into account as you continue your testimony. So what if he shot the clown? He still shot the victim, pal. Oh, we can just go ahead and present the gun on that, since it can only fire one bullet. The trickiest case often seems the simplest. Prosecutor Gavin, you missed the bullet hole in the clown's forehead. If you hadn't missed that, you might have come to a very different conclusion. Understand? Yeah, but like I just said, pal, after he shot the clown in the forehead, he went in... Did nothing of the sort to the victim. The pistol proves he could not. The murder weapon? How? It's quite simple, Your Honor. This pistol only holds one bullet at a time. Ah! If he had shot the clown in the forehead, he couldn't have shot the victim, too. Oh, nice. The music took a second to kick in there, but classic music is always nice. Yeah! Exclamatory from Gumshoe! That's not a contradiction, not even close. All he had to do was reload the pistol after the first shot. Oh, where did he get the extra bullet? They're not so easy to come by, you know. If you claim the defendant had one ready, then prove to us how he got it. Ah. I had a feeling this wasn't over yet. No, this party's just getting started, and I haven't proven anything yet beyond my good looks and startling record sales. An utter lack of humility. What's this? Seems that the prosecution has another witness prepared. Like I said, Herr Detective, was just the warm-up act. Oh, now that the audience has gotten a taste of what's to come, they're ready. Ready for what? For my decisive witness, of course. A witness who, you will find, can prove one thing for us. That it was Zach Gramarye who shot the victim in the forehead. Very well. We will pause for a 15-minute recess. This might be my lucky break. I'll need that 15 minutes to talk to my client, Zach. Court is adjourned. Whoa, that was a very short section before a save point. Is there something big coming up, perhaps? I mean, there obviously is. Wonder what it's going to be. I mean, I still think it's going to be Gramarye, pulling a disappearing act in the middle of the trial. But I don't think it's going to happen quite yet. I think we need to do a bit more. Very impressive, Mr. Oh, wrong character. Very impressive, Mr. Wright. I have to say, I expected nothing less. We've only just begun. I was hoping you could tell me a bit more about what happened, actually. I did not think you would believe me if I told you. Better that you discovered the truth for yourself. I was thinking of you, you know. I think we need less thinking and more talking. That night in the hospital, what really happened? Ah, the way your eyes gleam, Mr. Wright. You'll scare Trucy. Speaking of which, where is she? You have seen the problem yourself. The letter. The one shot in the forehead. One, right? Yes, and the reason he speaks of. I could not deny my mentor's wishes, even if it meant my own death. Why not? This is something I will not say. For now, at least. What's this for now business? I have done many things in my life. Some poorly. But this is a cross we must bear alone to our graves. We? You wanted to know about the night of the incident? Finally, this guy sure likes to take his time getting to the important stuff. Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time, and found there upon his bedside table, 2 pistols. 2? Yes, the one I had used on stage, and the one that had been used by my partner, Valance. Oh, for the Zack and Valance quick draw thing? My mentor had the look of one sleeping. I stood by his bedside, hearing only the light sound of his breathing. Then I took the pistol into my hand. I cannot deny that my resolve faltered then, for a moment. You faltered? You mean you thought about shooting him? Recall there was a reason I could not refuse his request. His last such request, though not his first. So, there were other requests you couldn't refuse before? To be honest, I have not always been steadfast, and I fear I have brought pain upon Trucy. Was Magnifi coercing his disciples somehow? Just what was going on in the troop granary? Yet, in the end, I did not shoot him. Instead, I turned and shot the clown. I took the pistol I had fired and placed it in my pocket. In your pocket? I believe if you examine the bullet in the clown's head, you will find it to be different than the one in my mentor. What were those called? Rifling marks? Yes, well, that is all I have to tell you concerning the case. Concerning the case? You mean there's something else you can tell me? Ha 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 ha! You are a fascinating man, Mr. Wright. Thanks. Yes, there is something. My mentor, his eyes opened. What? Magnifi Grammarly? The old devil. He was not asleep, you see. Of course, the gunshot would have woken him up anyway. And there we had our last discussion as mentor and pupil. Oh, how terrible. The background noise is back. I hope you'll all forgive me for that. It was not a long discussion, maybe 5-10 minutes or so. And what did you talk about? Mr. Wright, did I not just tell you? It does not concern this case. Zack Grammarly. He seems pretty steadfast to me. Or maybe just stubborn. Mr. Wright, your presence is requested in the courtroom. Once again, I am in your hands. Right, let's get back in there. Court is now back in session. During our recess, a bullet was found in and dug out of the clown's head. Well, this is news. In the rifling marks? There wasn't time to do a detailed analysis, though they did find that the weapon type matches the murder weapon. Well, that's not very conclusive, is it? Which is why I'm about to call my very decisive witness. Your decisive witness? How many times have I heard those words? No, they often turn out to be far less decisive than you think. Oh, don't worry on my account. I'm quite confident this witness will do the job. After all, he is intimately acquainted with the players in our little production, being the other half of the Troop Grammary's famous duo, Zack and Valance. Valant Grammarly. So, we get to meet the great Magnifi's other disciple. Oh, he looks so weird when he's young. is shiny. Perhaps we'll start by asking your name and occupation. Valant Gramarye, magician. You're the decisive witness, are you? You can prove your fellow student, your partner's guilt? Fates, the grand illusion filled with traps and tricks. Wait, the shooting took place in that hospital after 11 o'clock that night. If you're a witness, does that mean you were there that late? If one were to deduce this logically, the conclusion is yes! Okay. I always get the characters, don't I? I have an interesting fact for you. You see, several days before the crime, my witness received this. That looks very familiar. Wait. That's the same letter Zach Gramarye received. Yes, or perhaps I should say, ta-da! Oh man, my voice trailed off in a weird way there. Order, order, order. And what does it say? Surely not the same thing. Perhaps you should see for yourself. To my beloved student, Valance. Why, it's practically the same. The court accepts this into evidence. Hold on, we gotta check that. This is most unusual. Exactly what was going on with you folks? Let's see, the first one is saying meet at 11:05, and the second one's at 11:20. Got it. What exactly was your troop Gramarye up to? By which you mean? I'm just having trouble envisioning a man who would ask his students to kill him. Both of them, no less. That's just my opinion, Herr Judge. But from these letters, I'd say he was coercing them, not asking them. We walked the magician's path together, and in doing so shared much of our lives. When people are so close, there is strain, a warping of relations, you might say. Yet this has nothing to do with the case at hand. By which you mean you're not going to tell us. Which makes me wonder even more about this reason they couldn't refuse. Well, let's get on with the testimony for starters. The defendant, Zach Gramarye, stands accused. Tell us why. Oh, I'll do more than that. For where he walks, the red roses rise, singing hymns to the miracles that is magic. Fascinating. Though I hardly need to remind you that the evidence could just as clearly point to you as a suspect. The letter, the murder weapon, and now the 2 bullets found at the scene. In fact, the only difference seems to be the designated time. Ha 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 ha! As every magician knows, timing is everything. Yes. And now it's time for this party to get fired up. That night I visited the hospital room at the time Magnifi requested. The smell of gunpowder hung in the room, and my mentor had taken his final bow. I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions, yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. Death's sweet kiss. I gave it to the clown. Then I informed the doctor and the police. So you were the one who reported the crime. Indeed, I would think that this fact alone would clear my name of suspicion. Well, let's not jump to any conclusions. Yes, the cross-examination generally comes before the conclusion in this court. But if your testimony proves to be true, then the defendant, Zach Gramarye, is guilty. And if it wasn't Zach Gramarye, then the killer was you, Valant. But I somehow have a feeling it's neither of you. And no disappearing act will get you out of that. Let's see, where do we want to start on this? Visit at 11:20, yep. Smell of gunpowder. But you say that he's dead. Do we have, like, other gun? No, we do not. Alright. Let's see. So, you weren't worried for your own safety at all? I mean, you smelled gunpowder, yes? What if the shooter was still nearby? I'd not consider this, to be honest. It is forbidden for a magician to have a good imagination. Really? Isn't magic all about illusions and imagination? How about this? You were the shooter, which is why you weren't afraid. Now you are the one imagining. It is forbidden for a lawyer to have a good imagination. The witness will refrain from pausing so suspiciously before responding. My forbidden imagination is starting to imagine things. How did you know that your fellow student also received this? Which brings us back to this reason neither of you could refuse. So it does, and my partner, he did not refuse. But Magnifi wrote the same thing to you. Why could you refuse if Zack couldn't? Because I have a will of steel, of course. I also do this trick where I bend steel bars, so perhaps steel isn't all so strong. So which is it? Mind if I continue? There were 2 bullet holes at the scene, one in the victim and one in the clown. You're saying the one who shot the clown was you? No doubt my partner Zack has said much the same thing. Yeah, because whoever didn't shoot the clown committed murder. I'd better dig around here a bit more and see what I turn up. Mr. Valent, let me ask you something else about something else concerning the crime scene. Namely, let's go with the number of pistols? No, that wouldn't be right. The location of the pistol? I think it's going to be the number of the pistols. How many pistols were there when you entered the room? By which you mean what, precisely? 2 pistols were used in the Zack and Valent quick draw shooting, correct? One for each of you. You are well informed, yet only one of my old friends sat in the hospital room that night. Water break. I'm back. What did Zack tell me back in the lobby? Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time, and found there upon his bedside 2 pistols. I took one of the pistols I had fired and placed it in my pocket. Hold on. Oh, I took the pistol I had fired. Okay. I almost confused myself by misreading it. I see no problem with that statement. Only one pistol is visible in the photograph of the crime scene, after all. So you picked up the pistol and fired it? Indeed I did. Alakazam, Alakazing, Alakaboom. Is the number of pistols really so important? The number of pistols is quite important, Your Honor. Very well. Please add this detail to your testimony. What can I do but obey? Oh, it's another one of these. Okay. Alright. Where do we want to go with this? I mean, if you say there's only one pistol in the hospital room that night, then clearly that's a contradiction, but I don't think I have anything to contradict it with. Because you yourself have stated there was already smells gunpowder. Alright, we'll try swapping it for one of the other ones. So, you took the only pistol there and fired it? That's correct. And that pistol was this one, which was left at the scene, at the crime scene. Good show. I see you too are a magician of sorts. And you're an idiot of sorts. Do you have any idea what you just said? I see the fire in your eyes as you glare at the witness. So how about heating this trial up a bit? These slow ballads bore me. I've got a hunch, but maybe that's all it is. Maybe I should ask about something else. No, I think it should be this. Second thought, let's run with this testimony a little while longer. Okay, you say there's only one pistol in the hospital room that night, with which you shot the clown. I think I present the pistol, but it could also be the photo. We're going to do both. I'm going to take damage from this, probably, but it's fine. According to the defendant, Zack Gramarye, when he entered the room, there were 2 pistols on that table. Oh, I got it right first try. Nice. 2? One of the pistols he used to shoot the clown in the forehead. Then he left with it in his pocket. Of course, this is what he would say. Unlike the hapless clown, we must assume our defendant has some brains in his head. Well, what about what Mr. Valent told us? You see, there's something about his testimony that doesn't make sense. What might that be? I told you I took the pistol that was there and shot the clown. That's your story, at least. But the rifling marks tell a very different story, Mr. Valent. Recall what Prosecutor Gavin told us. We compared the bullet taken from the victim's skull with the bullet fired from this gun. The rifling marks on the bullet were a perfect match. Ah. Mr. Valens, if you fired this pistol, then you shot the victim in the forehead. Nice, we got the little... I'm gonna say, like, we got this music back every single time it plays, because I'm just so happy. Order! 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 Why do I always say it 3 times? Well, this is all rather sudden. What have I done? Prosecutor Gavin? I owe the court an apology. Sorry. Sorry for what? You see, I was unaware that 2 of these unique pistols were crafted. The analysis of the rifling marks only proved that type of gun that fired them. But that's not what you told us before. You said you'd verify the murder weapon. Which is why I'm apologizing to you now. Quite sincerely, I might add. Would you hold me accountable for a mistake made in my youth? Yes. Yes, absolutely yes. That was just this morning. I am still young. How old are you? Huh? How about that? 17. Okay, well... Too bad. I'm holding you accountable anyway. And I might add, it wasn't really my fault. If the defendant had only admitted he took 1 pistol from the scene of the crime, we would not be having this pleasant discussion now. Valent Gramarye? Yes, Your Honor. You were presented to this court as a decisive witness, but you've proven to be more divisive than decisive. You'll see in time. The testimony so far has merely been a review of the facts. The proof comes next. Care to elaborate, Prosecutor Gavin? When Mr. Valent entered the courtroom, the victim had already been shot. As his next testimony will prove, Herr Wright, the real fight is about to begin. Bring it. Very well. The witness will now testify to the court. Help us determine who shot what. I arrived at the hospital room at the appointed time, which is to say 11:20 p.m. After discovering the body, I fulfilled my obligation, then called in the doctor. The doctor examined the body before the police arrived. He was quite clear about the time of death, 11:10 p.m. And the one in the room at the time was my partner, not me. Those times are rather close, you have to admit. You're talking about an alibi established over a matter of minutes. To use a 10-minute discrepancy as the basis of your alibi is easy to explain in this situation, Herr Judge. For example, take our debut hit single, 13 Years Hard Time for Love. Cue to the song, press the play button, and it will play for 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Do it 100 times, the result is the same. Their debut single was only 2 minutes, 15 seconds long? What a ripoff. Magic is the world of utmost precision. Hocus Pocus requires admirable focus. And in the time of death determined by the doctor, there was an I've not seen this word. Incontrovertible truth. Incontrovertible. Got it. Very well. The prosecution warns us that we're dealing with rather precise times, and we can expect the cross-examination to require the same level of precision. I would hope the defense refrains from its customarily broad, sweeping accusations, lest we blur the focus this case so clearly demands. Point taken. Basis of marks will result in a penalty. Carry on, Mr. Wright. Carry on? Right. Does that mean if I press the wrong thing, I get a penalty? Probably. Let's see. You arrived at the appointed time. Called in a doctor. Doctor examined the body. He was quite clear about the time. And the only person in the time. Okay, let's check why the doctor was so specific about this. Does it have to do with the diabetes? I don't think I'm stepping out on a limb to say I have some doubts about this. How could the doctor be so precise with the time? We do usually only get an estimated time of death, true. I'm not sure I've heard of a verified time of death. Medic revels in making the complex appear simple, but reality is quite the opposite. What appears complex in this case is a simple matter of subtraction. I see another person has done their arithmetic homework. The point here is the IV the victim was taking. It's quite visible in the photograph of the scene. Oh, this is how. Got it. Recall what we heard earlier about the victim, Magnifi Gramarye's schedule. Every night at 11 o'clock, Magnifi took an IV drip for 30 minutes. I can see the IV bag right there, yes. Now, look at the little closer. Follow the tube down the bag to the end. Ah! The needle's been removed. Doubtlessly, it fell out when he was shot. That would seem to be the case. When the needle comes out, the IV no longer drips. You could just measure the remaining IV liquid. Precisely. The IV liquid functions, for our purpose, as an hourglass of sorts. This is how the doctor determined the time of death. From the amount of remaining in the bag, it was determined that the IV had stopped 10 minutes after administration began. Alright, this is good. And so it was, when I, Valent, entered that room. 10 minutes had passed since that horrible crime was committed. And this is proof. Well, Mr. Wright? Did that seem important? Yes, of course it did. Well, seeing how it is the biggest clue we have to the time of death, I think it's very important. Agreed. It would be hard to imagine a more precise way to determine the time. Behold the power of arithmetic! Very well. The witness will add this detail to his testimony. Sometimes the most magical thing of all is the truth. Let's see. Well, it does not necessarily prove your innocence. Let's see. Yep, here's the estimated time of death. You arrived at 11:20 according to you, and you supposedly died at 11:10. And what was happening at 11:10? I mean, Magnifi said he was talking to him at that time. So he could, I guess, have taken it out beforehand. Wait a second. Why would he have taken the IV out? Doesn't make sense. How do we convey this to the game? It's not going to be the autopsy, is it? Couldn't be the photo as well. Why ever did he take it out? We'll press on it, see. Did you notice the IV yourself by any chance? When I first entered that room, the stench of gunpowder assailed me. Next, the mark of death upon my mentor's forehead. And then, his left arm did I spy a rose, drooping and wilted. Its thorn, the discarded IV needle. Knocked from the vein by the force of the shot. Luckily for you. That IV had not been there, why, you might have been a suspect. Indubitably so. I might say it's thanks to that's thanks to my lucky color. Your lucky color? Indeed, even today I wear it proudly upon my suspect self. For it always, without fail, brings me luck. Why, when Zack and Valent won their first Magician's Grand Prix, yes, the very one held by the Association of International Magicians, I was adorned in this attire then too, and our trophy, a bust. Ah, what a day that was. This is one trip down memory lane that no one needs. My lucky color, yes indeed, and that IV too. I say I'd think 'twas hued especially for me, Valence. That does seem to be the case indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, any thoughts on this testimony? Valent sure looks happy with himself. Okay, how about this lucky color testimony? Not a problem, no. I think this is notable. So his lucky color is yellow. So we can assume, then, that the yellow letter from earlier that was delivered by our forger boy, or fake forger boy, was presumably from or to this guy. I assumed it was just like a normal yellow envelope, but clearly not. And the red envelope was probably from Zach, because his... I think he was red, right? I think it's in the court record, yeah? Yeah, his is red. So Enigmar asked for a forged evidence, and the letter was sent to Valent. What about the purple letter? Who's purple? Is the lady purple? Because Magnifi is black. Okay, so I guess it's the character we have, the member we have not met is purple, and that's who that letter belongs to. Alright, we're putting things together. Anyway, is there a problem with his testimony? I didn't actually even check. Ivy's green. So, yes, there is a problem. It certainly sounds like your lucky color has brought you plenty of luck, but not this time. Mr. Valent, your lucky color betrayed you. I am afraid you've lost me. Your Honor, the witness's testimony just now clearly contradicts the evidence. What? Please recall my warning at the beginning of this cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Baseless accusations will be duly penalized. I do hope this latest accusation is well-based. Don't worry, I've got all your bases right here. Very well, let's hear the defense's claim. Where is your evidence that contradicts what Mr. Valent told us? The crime scene tells all, Your Honor. The photo of the crime scene? All this talk of color has my yearning for black and white, clear-cut simplicity. Tell us, Herr Wright, just where is the contradiction in this photo? My pleasure, and I assure you it's quite simple. But I can't promise anything in black and white. Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What in this photo contradicts the witness's testimony? It's a green. The IV drip is green. Valent Gramarye, let's get one thing straight about your lucky color. It's yellow, yes? Kind of takes the mystery out of it, but yes! Something wrong with yellow, Mr. Wright? Yes, there is. Decisively wrong, in fact. Take another look at the photo of the crime scene. What's this? Confusion, doubt. Dallas, what do your elderly eyes spy? Even my elderly eyes can see a problem here, Mr. Valent. Look at that IV bag. Ah! What is this? What foul magic? It would be hard to call the IV liquid yellow. I'm afraid no magic was involved in the taking of this photograph. Ah. Alakazoo! Alakanu! Oh, Alkano, that's what it was. Alrighty, try that 3 times. Order! Order! 3 times order! What does this mean? This is some kind of mistake. Yes, Prosecutor Gavin, your witness's mistake. The greener they are, the harder they fall. Suppose there's no substitute for experience. Valent Gramarye, as you could remind us several times, your lucky color is yellow, but the IV is clearly not. Oh, well... This contradiction can mean only one thing. And to think, you almost had me. I see your true colors now, Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright. Something you would like to tell us, Prosecutor Gavin? As far as this court can tell, the witness's testimony does contradict the evidence. Yes, a contradiction. One that I shall be pleased to hand right back to Mr. Wright. How do you mean? How? Because the witness has made no mistakes. I agree, at a glance, the IV liquid does appear sort of greenish yellow. But I assure you, the liquid itself is quite yellow. Yellow liquid? How can you say that? As far as I can tell from this photo, it's green. Yes, but what color is the IV bag itself? The bag? You mean the plastic bag on the hook? It looks like I want to say a light blue? Precisely. Figured it out yet. Put a yellow liquid in a blue bag and you get green. This, incidentally, is the liquid's true color. I see. Your explanation does have a ring of truth to it. Yeah, but that doesn't explain why he saw it as yellow. As I thought. There's no substitute for experience, Prosecutor Gavin. What? You may tell a good tale, but you've just proven something rather grave. For you, that is. Grave. The liquid in the IV is yellow, yes. But how did this witness know that? It's quite unnatural when you think about it. You think about it, didn't it, you? Your Honor, the defense requests an explanation from the witness. At the scene of the crime, the IV liquid appears to be green. So let me ask, how did the witness know that the IV liquid was actually yellow? Yalakazong! Order! Order! Triple order! Mr. Wright, you will explain this at once. The witnesses clearly knew the color of the IV liquid, so I'm sure it means something, but what? I can think of only one possibility, Your Honor. The witness, Valent Grammary, has testified that the IV liquid is yellow because... I think he knew the IV liquid's color because he pulled out the needle, right? Is that what I'm going to go with? Can I see it in the syringe? Not from here. He could have seen it before, I suppose. Well, yeah, because saying he knew the IV liquid's color indicates that, like, he just knew what color it was. So I think he'd seen it before. Wait, why would it look yellow? That's an option. Why is that an option? That he has IV changed, perhaps? No, I doubt that's the case. Oh man, I'm not actually sure. We'll go with he'd seen it before. From the facts before us, the answer is clear. The witness knew that the IV liquid was yellow. Why? Because he'd seen it before. But not inside the blue bag, we see in the photo. He saw the liquid by itself in a clear, colorless bag. I suppose he would have to, but I'm still not clear as to what this all means. Ask yourself, why would he know if he didn't work at a hospital? That's where you'll find your meaning, Your Honor. Oh, okay, so we're insinuating that he's been here before. Got it. I'm afraid I know nothing. I find nothing. So what if you knew the IV liquid's color? Leave the getting excited over absolutely nothing to our teeny bopper fans, yeah? Teeny bopper? Who says that these days? The IV liquid is the only evidence proving the time of death. A 30-minute hourglass with 20 minutes worth of sand remaining. Your claim, Prosecutor Gavin. I remembered well. However, there's a critical difference between an hourglass and an IV bag. Wait, I know. An hourglass uses sand, but an IV bag uses liquid. I'm right, right? Oh, I get it. Did he swap them? I think that's likely. As much as it pains me to say this, Your Honor, no. Unlike the sand that runs through an hourglass, IV liquid enters the patient's body, at which point, like magic, it disappears. However, what if the amount of IV liquid had increased? You couldn't tell, could you? After all, there's no way of knowing how much went in. Let me get this straight, Herr Wright. You're saying the witness watered down the victim's IV bag? Not with water, but with IV liquid. That's how you knew the IV liquid was yellow. No, wait, I said wait. How might an amateur such as myself essay to perform such a task? I'm an amateur too, but I can pour water into a cup. I'm afraid there's quite a big difference between a cup and an IV bag. Quite. Can you prove our witness is capable of such a feat? He has a point, amateurs. I, at least, would have some difficulty pouring an IV liquid into that bag. Okay, guys, he had like 10 minutes to figure this out. Come on. You don't need to be an expert to look on the witness's face. He added a liquid to that IV to throw off the time of death. I tire of these fairy tales lacking evidence. Well, Mr. Wright, any solid evidence to bring us back down to earth? Valiant Gramarye, I'm afraid your magic won't serve you well in a life of crime. Might I ask what you're strongly suggesting? Oh, he injected it with the syringe, yeah? Magic relies on props, and props become evidence. Our witness was certainly able to increase the amount of IV liquid in the bag. All he had to do was work a little magic, and the prop was the syringe. Yep. Oh, I'm so dumb. I can't believe it. I said I wouldn't need to inspect the syringe. The syringe is empty. It's empty. I can see that it's empty. I have a syringe, or had one just like this. And I don't even need to have had one before. I can just see that it's empty. Oh my god. I'm so... Okay. And it's been washed, not to mention. I mean, I thought the wash part was, like, normal. I should have just looked at the picture and put two and two together. The victim's syringe? It's the perfect prop for the magically increasing IV trick. And easy enough for an amateur to use. What kind of evidence is that? The syringe was clean, not a trace of liquid in it. And don't you find that odd, Prosecutor Gavin? What? The victim had the syringe to administer his insulin shots. There should have been traces of insulin left inside. Well, Valiant Gramarye, as you pointed out yourself, the IV liquid makes the perfect clock. One that you can manipulate at will. Alakazam! I do believe, well, with this being his first, that the burden of this trial has been a bit too much to bear for Prosecutor Gavin. I'm afraid that, while there is a doubt as to the amount of IV liquid in that bag, the time of death cannot be proven. And that brings our trial to a close for today. Well, maybe I can squeeze an extra day out of this. I can do a little much-needed investigation work. I see there are no objections. Court is a... Truly, there's no substitute for experience. Nothing blinds one to the truth so effectively. A word to the wise. Underestimate the young, and they'll sweep your feet out from under you. In a way you never, ever expected. You see, I know exactly what you're thinking. What's he talking about? You say the witness used this syringe to manipulate the level of the IV liquid. But there is no proof. There is no proof he didn't do it either. Yes, quite true. Huh? He's admitting it. Nor was the witness quite as decisive as I'd hoped. This I admit. After all, why linger in the past when the future holds so much? You, have something in mind, Prosecutor Gavin? Proof, Herr Judge. I have another way to prove my case. With evidence, no less. What's this? This is the victim Magnifi Gramarye's diary. Diary? After going into the hospital, Magnifi began writing his memoirs, it seems. The story of his birth, his startling debut, and of meeting his disciples. It seems he intended for the last chapter to end, quite appropriately, with his death. Wait, that book doesn't say what the reason was, does it? The reason why his disciples couldn't refuse his last request? Sadly, it does not. What's important here is in the last page. Apparently, the victim wrote in his journal that night, even after the IV had begun at 11 p.m. And let's read it, shall we? Tonight's IV is in. Maybe the... Oh man, I need water. Water break, water break. Alright, I'm all good. Tonight's IV is in. Maybe the last I leave the rest to them. The first should come soon. The journal may end here, or it may go on, but not long. That depends on his hand. All that's left to mine is to lay down this pen. Alright. This does appear to have been written just before his death. The court accepts this into evidence. Read the very last part with particular care. I want to see if I can see this book in 3D. I can. Ah, and there's the seal on the back. Nothing else of note. Alright. This journal may end here, or it may go on, but not long. That depends on his hand. Of course, by his, he refers to our defendant, Zach Gramarye. That would make sense, yes. He was the first scheduled visitor, after all. But look what he said before that. This journal may end here, or it may go on. It may go on. Magnifi Gramarye intended to write again. That is, if Zach Gramarye didn't pull the trigger. I see the defense understands the meaning of this. The victim's diary does not go on. It ends. Ignore the ripped page, please, because Magnifi's life was brought to an end by the defendant, Zach Gramarye. Order! Order! Triple order again! Prosecutor Gavin, are you certain that Magnifi Gramarye wrote this? There is no mistaking his handwriting. Well, this does seem to be significant. According to this, Magnifi did intend to continue his diary. Yet if his diary ended here, which plainly it did, then the one who pulled the trigger was the first visitor, Zach Gramarye. Well, how do you like me now, Herr Wright? Still too green for your tastes? He's right about the diary being pretty clear. Still, I find it hard to believe that he'd overlook such an obvious problem with his precious evidence. Well, Mr. Wright, the witness's testimony we heard was lacking, but put together with this evidence, it seems quite sufficient for a case. If this diary is accepted like this, the trial's over. Maybe it's time for me to show them something. I'm left with no choice but to show my own evidence. What? You have some evidence that overturns this diary? It's not too late to rethink this and avoid more embarrassments. Very well, please show us your evidence, Mr. Wright. Incidentally, don't even think of showing us the diary I've just shown in the court. Now that we've come this far, I hope you have something a little more decisive. Show us evidence that proves the victim continued writing his diary. Alright, I'd be happy to. The decisive evidence proving that the diary didn't end with this page is this. First, take a close look at this diary. Note that a page has clearly been ripped out. What's this? I hadn't noticed that at all. That's why we're here still talking about this. As it just so happens, I have here what I believe to be the missing page. Alec, I don't believe it. Looking at this page, it's hard to imagine that his first visitor that night shot Magnifi... No, it's hard to imagine the first visitor that night shot Magnifi Gramarye. That's the defense's position. Wait, let me see that. What in Sam Hill? Oh, why, this is the continuation of the victim's diary. Is Gavin about to snap? Or is it going to be Valent? Someone's going to explode. Oh, no, really? Note the torn edge of the page. It's a perfect match with the torn remains from the last page in Magnifi's diary. Quite remarkable. Would you care to explain what all this means, Herr Attorney? The diary continued after his first visitor came, which means that the victim was still alive after Zach Gramarye left, leaving him no one to take his life but a second visitor. Valent Gramarye. No. No! The handwriting, too, matches that on the other pages. This is without a doubt the genuine article. Order, order. Triple order for the third or fourth, fifth time? I'm not sure. But wait, that's impossible. That old man couldn't have written that. Finally. You just couldn't resist, could you, Herr Wright? Resist what? Presenting solid evidence? Herr Judge? Yes, Prosecutor Gavin? Might I request we put the current cross-examination on hold? The prosecution would like to call a new witness. But, Prosecutor Gavin, this new evidence overturns the current witnesses. I ask only to put it on hold. Please. My new witness has a very, very important piece of testimony to give. 5 minutes. No more. I promise, Your Honor. Well, if you put it that way, Mr. Wright, what's your take on this? Well, Your Honor, judging from his enthusiasm, we'll have to hear this new testimony sooner or later anyway, so might as well be sooner. Then, though this is highly irregular, we will put the current cross-examination on hold. The witness may step down. Now, Prosecutor Gavin, please bring the surprise witness to the courtroom. I had a bad feeling just then. That ripped-out page was too obvious. He must have known. And I should have known it was a bad sign all around. Oh, it's the man. There's no audience, I just noticed. Holding trial with no audience is a first, even for me, Prosecutor Gavin. I beg the court's understanding. But I had to make a judiciary deal with the witness to secure his testimony. A judiciary deal? The details of his testimony may have some legal ramifications, shall we say? I thought it best to contain the information to this room. Very well. And you are the witness, I gather? Yes. Yes, sir. State your name and occupation for the record. My name's Drew Misham. I'm a painter. A painter? And you are somehow related to this case? No, well, not per se. I have one simple question for the witness. Mr. Misham, was it? Do you know what this is? Oh, yeah, I know it well. How's that possible? Have you seen this diary page somewhere before? Oh, yeah. I mean, I made it. You... what? You made it? Yes. You might call it one of my works. The prosecutor's office received a tip-off yesterday. Illegal evidence has been prepared for the trial of Zach Gramery. Illegal evidence? I initiated an investigation and found this witness. A painter to the world at large, Drew Misham, has another side, you might say. He's skilled in making perfect reproductions of certain things. Forgeries, in other words. Forgeries? Well, so, we are to understand that this page here is a fake, prepared by a certain defense attorney. Hold it. I didn't prepare this evidence. The attorney speaks. Something about this page, I presume, but what is he saying? It makes no sense. After all, it was you who presented this evidence to us, Phoenix, right? Witness? Mr. Misham, was it? You requested this forgery. Who was your client? That... I don't know. What? Most of my clients prefer to remain anonymous, even to me. I make the items they want, and they receive my payment. That's the extent of my contact with them. But there's no proof, and this is a fake. It's a fake. Huh? To avoid just this sort of problem, I always put a special mark on my works. I can say, without a doubt, this is mine. What? What is the mark? I didn't notice anything. Mr. Wright, you have just presented illegal evidence to this court. My court. It was careless of me. That's all I can say. Oh, old boy. Here. What's this? I don't know. I just got it over there in the hall. They told me to give it to you, to the old boy in this blue suit with the spiky hair. They said it was really important. It was all a trap. A fatal trap. Mr. Wright? Yes? Do you have an explanation for yourself? If I did, would the court hear it? Probably not. Forging evidence is a serious crime. Presenting in court, a serious mistake. A fatal mistake for an attorney. Fatal, too, perhaps, for your client, I fear. Tell me, what kind of defendant relies on forged evidence? The answer is quite clear. A guilty one. Your Honor, wait. I understand that presenting forged evidence in court is a serious crime, but you cannot hold my client responsible for actions I undertook as an individual. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. Your Honor. Another close call, I dare say. If the prosecutor's office hadn't received that hot tip, everything wouldn't have gone the way you wanted it to, yeah? I even gave you a chance. Too bad you decided not to think before embarrassing yourself. I see no need for further discussion on this matter. Special witness dismissed. Man, that was like a blatant display of corruption, yeah? He said he wouldn't listen if he had an explanation? I mean, we already knew from the previous games that the legal system was, like, going down the drain quick. Especially with how much that's been enforced in this game, but that is seriously whack. Mr. Attorney? Yes? Could I ask your name? Phoenix Wright. Mr. Wright, I have seen and studied many people, but none like you. I remember you, Mr. Wright. Though I deeply regret having to declare a verdict in this way, this trial is over. You have the right to find a new attorney and make an appeal. However, this court must... Ah, Your Honor? Yes, Mr. Zek? There is one thing I wish to make clear. Today, in this courtroom, you cannot declare me guilty. It is impossible. I'm afraid the defendant is quite mistaken. I most certainly have the authority to declare a verdict on you. Except, tell me, how do you plan on announcing your verdict when your defendant does not exist? Doesn't exist? What are you talking about? I am talking about this. I knew he would do this. Mr. Enigmar? The defendant escaped. Find him, quick. Bailiff, close all the exits from the building. On the double, he must not be allowed to escape. That day, in that courtroom, a miracle occurred. The defendant, Shady Enigmar, aka Zak Gremory, not just escaped from court, he literally, unbelievably vanished. Right before the bailiff's eyes. No one ever saw him again. Not since that day. This is the Gremory miracle! Ha 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 ha! Oh, that's important. The Gremory miracle, specifically? The one that, our boys, Valent's looking for? Or trying to do? No verdict was declared. After all, the defendant didn't exist. That's how it happened. The trial of magician Zak Gremory vanished, along with him, for all eternity. The mysteries that remained behind were all solved, however, but not until 7 years later. Ooh, look at that. We've hit our next to be continued. Aw, man. I definitely need to get a new chair, because as comfortable as this thing is, it really does not work for long. Whoa, wait a second, what's that? The Mason system. Have we heard this before? The only potential time we would have heard that would be during what was it, the final trial, the previous game? No. The trial, the second the last trial in the previous game. Whenever Phoenix was going back through old records of Mia's. But I'm not sure if that's what this is. Well, we have a bit more time. Not to mention, we haven't been going all that long. So we'll keep going, yeah. That trial, 7 years ago, was the beginning of it all. This I know beyond a doubt. The mysteries of the past work their magic on the present. But you'll soon be finding all this out for yourself. Which of Magnifi's Grammary's disciples pulled that trigger? Where did the vanishing defendant, Zach Gramary, go? What dark truth lurks behind the forged diary page? And what about the girl who was left behind? Is there going to be actual supernatural element here? I think so. Oh, we've seen this before in this game already, yeah? Oh, yes, I think this is the same one from last time. The past left us these 4 keys to unlocking the truth. But that's not all. There are 4 keys in the present as well. And when all the questions have found their answers, the final trial will begin. But first, you must chase the truth, then and now. Think of it as a game. I, Phoenix Wright, will be your guide to this game. That terrible trial saw me present forged evidence. It ended, half finished, when the defendant vanished. What became of me after that? As your investigation proceeds, the answer will become clear. Oh, and one more thing. There is something I must tell you. As Apollo Justice has his bracelet, so too do I have my own weapon of sorts. My Magatama. What does it do, you might ask? That I would have you see for yourself. Well now, shall we begin? Use the bumpers to jump between the past and the present. Let's begin 7 years ago, in the past. It's right after my last trial came to an abrupt end. Now that you know about the game, let's play. Ooh, I really like the way this is going. I love things like this. Gives me real Twilight Zone vibes. Let's see. Let's start... Oh, wait, we had to go to the past. Oh, wait, we're in the past. Yeah. Are we? Okay, this is the present. The other one's past. Got it. Let's see. Let's start up at the top. Detention Center. The nightmare trial was over. And the new nightmare figuring out what had happened had just begun. I wanted to wake up, to walk away. But I figured I'm the only one who could do this, probably. And besides, I had plenty of time, thanks to the Bar Association Review Board's decision. It's hard to work when your attorney's badge has been taken away. What strange sight doth mine eyes behold? Excuse me? 2 men on either side of a single transparent pane. Yet it seems fickle fate has switched sides, so to speak. The forger of fakes walks freely, while the innocent languishes within these plexiglass confines. There's been no proof that I forged anything, nor proof that I took the life of my dear mentor. Yet, these chains cannot hold me for long. The stage awaits, and what, may I ask, awaits you? A little piano in a cold little hole in the wall. But since you are here, what shall we discuss? The shooting of Magnifi Gramary, for one. Who pulled that trigger? Fallon or his partner Zach? His partner vanished before the answer could be found. If I'm going to get any closer to the truth, this is the place to start. I have to hand it to my partner. He knows how to make an exit. That's talent. Yes, he made my attorney's badge disappear, and he never even touched it. Glory's spotlight always leaves someone weeping in the shadows, yet his very disappearance itself is a revelation. Revealing what? Zack Gremory killed Magnifi. It's as good as a signed confession. That's certainly been public opinion's take on it. I grow tired of my cage, and the time of my release is near. I must go and prepare. Planning on jumping back into the magic ring right away? As long as an audience waits with bated breath, there will be Valant. And also... yes? Now that my partner has disappeared, Magnifi's repertoire is mine. Valant Gremory has a tradition to uphold. Is that true? Seen in this light, the trial was quite good to me, verdict or no. And you can't pay for that kind of publicity. The suspicion on you hasn't lifted entirely, Valant. After all, you received one of those letters too. You were just as obligated to follow Magnifi's instructions as your partner. So I was, but only Zack Gremory followed them. Let us not speak any more of who shot what. Now that my partner has vanished, the question is moot. I'm more interested in learning something else, actually. What might that be? I want to know what Magnifi had up his sleeve. How could he coerce you and your partner to kill him? The trick up his sleeve? Ha ha ha! Perhaps you do not know. Know what? A great magician never reveals his secrets. Ooh, Psyche Lock time. Oh, that's a lot. Not the most I've seen, though. I didn't think it would be that easy. The audience must remain forever in the audience, bathing in the reflected glow of the spotlight. My Magatama, one of my most prized possessions, which I got during a certain case. It can show me the locks on people's hearts. And if I can unlock their hearts, they'll tell me their secrets. The Magatama starts it all, and the Magatama ends it all. Alright. Ooh, okay, we're doing a different button this time. Let's see here. I'm flying by the seat of my pants on this one. There must be a path leading from the evidence to the truth. And that's what I'm going to find. To ask someone to take a life, even one not long for this world, that's asking someone to commit murder. Yes, our mentor was fond of dramatic moves, and dramatic finales. And he got his wish, his life was taken. What weakness could be so powerful as to coerce someone into committing murder? My guess is a matter of life or death. Care to explain? Your troupe lived in a world of showmanship. The flashier, the better. And flashy so often means danger, doesn't it? Well, let us make this as painless as possible. If you have proof of this danger, then show it. Well, I mean, it's the gun, yeah? You can fire a real bullet. Why, that's one of ours. Specially designed for your show, I gather. A single bullet, one shot. What are you suggesting? We are magicians, Mr. Wright, not murderers. I'm not crying murderer, Mr. Valant. I'm crying something far more tragic. An accident. Ah, this is the Phoenix Wright I know and love. He actually figures things out before me. Apollo has managed that once so far, and I'll give him that. I'm really hoping he can do it more, but so far Apollo has not been too impressive on that front. Oh. Zack and Valant's quick draw shoot 'em. How long has it been since those shots were last heard? Was the shoot 'em cancelled because someone might get hurt? Of course. What other reason could there be? While it could have been cancelled because someone had already been hurt. Fascinating, my Faustian forging friend. But tell me, what can you prove with a single pistol? Well, tell me what would have happened if there had been an accident. What if one of your bullets took a life on stage? The performance of magic is not concerned with what-ifs. It is concerned with precision. Precisely whom do you claim we shot? Looks like I've chosen the right path. Let's just hope he walks it with me. A life was sacrificed so that the show might go on, and this shows who it was. I can't show people. Can I read this? I don't think so, no. Are we going to say that it was him? Magnifi? A word, if I may. Yes? Does it excite you to know you stand at a critical moment in your quest? Yeah, it does, sort of. Then you never make it on stage. You are not fit to be a magician. Give it up. Alright, that's one failure. I hadn't actually considered being that as a career option. I'm sure you'll find something else to while away the time. Like figuring out who that bullet hit. Wait, you didn't have the option to present people, though. Yeah, no, I can't present people. It's not, is it Magnifi's autopsy? Is that it? I mean, all these are about Magnifi. Alright, well, we'll say the autopsy then. Nope, that's not it either. Let's see. I mean, why? Oh, do I have to go somewhere else? Come back? You know, that might be it. I forgot that was the whole thing with the Psychic Locks. Yeah, that's the whole, like, gimmick. Might not have enough evidence right now to pull this off. Maybe it's time to do a little more legwork. Alright. Didn't think I'd be back here for a while. I didn't want to have to remember that day. Though I deeply regret having to declare a verdict this way, the trial is over. Ah, Your Honor? Yes, Mr. Zack? There is one thing I wish to make clear. Today, in this courtroom, you cannot declare me guilty. What are you talking about? I'm talking about this. Oh, they cut out quite a bit there. That's nice. Keep only the important parts. Also, I think I just, like, did my microphone do something weird there? I think I heard something. Alright, I hope I didn't hurt anyone's ears. Mr. Nigmar! The defendant's escaped. Find him, quick. Bailiff, close all the exits from the building. On the double, he must not be allowed to escape. Yes, flashback. When I came here on that fateful morning, I still had my badge, but now, like an amputated limb, I can still feel it itching. Where do I start? I don't even have the authority to investigate. Hey, you there, sir. Oh, it's Meekins. Oh, his arm's better now. Down on the hands, floor on your head. Now, now, now. What's the big idea? My ears. No unauthorized personnel aren't allowed in here. But that would mean all unauthorized personnel are allowed. Zoink! I just say it like it is, sir, and it's usually wrong. Thrown out of the precinct, lost my friends, my girl, and even my wallet. We've met before, haven't we? On a case 2 years ago? No recollection of that, sir. Huh? For me, working on a case is always in the present progressive tense, sir. There is no past, there is only now, sir. Okay, you're, the bailiff, right? Yes, sir. Court Bailiff Mike Meekins, at your service, sir. I've asked to meet with the bailiff at this court who let the magician escape. Let me try to make this absolutely as clear as possible for you, sir. It was me, sir. But you were a regular police officer once, right? Oh, did we strike a nerve? Sometimes bad things happen to good people, sir. Something tells me that it's a long story. Let's not go there. So, you were in charge of the security at the time of the vanishing? I'm dying over here. Oh, it's a hard knock life, sir. Thrown out of the precinct. Lost my friends, my girl, even my wallet. Guess I wasn't the only victim. The last time we met, you were a police officer, right? In fact, you're still wearing your uniform. Sir, I wish I didn't have to tell you this, but last year, tragedy struck a rising star at the precinct. I lost my case files 4 times in 3 days. They fired me. That takes real talent, actually. They don't know what they're missing. So, here I am, sir, forced to start from square one, a lowly bailiff. But your uniform... I took it with me as a souvenir the day I was fired. That can't be legal. So, you were the one who let the magician get away that day? I'm dying over here. How many times is he going to repeat this? Is this the exact same thing? Okay, no. Oh, no, the horrible background noise is back. Alright. Is there anything you can tell me about it? About Zach Gramarye's disappearance? Oh, the humanity. That's enough of that, please. Why, yes, I'd say it was around 2 p.m. when I heard commotion in the court. I opened the door to see what might be amiss. The door slams open, slam, and some guy's face is right there in front of me. Face. So, you saw someone suspicious coming your way? Yes, and I, being a bailiff of little standing, I gave chase. I chased that silk hat all the way down the hall, sir. I have a diagram of the court building here. Aha, there's courtroom number 7. That's where I was, sir. All by myself, nary a friend to call my own. Okay, and which way did Zach Gramarye run after bursting through the courtroom door? He went up like this, and around the corner like that. So I, with no delay, ran after him with no delay. When I turned the corner, I saw the magician man run into the defendant lobby. Swiftly I ran. Following him, I threw myself boldly into the room. Why, I remember it like it was right here, because it was lobby number 2, sir. You ran into this room? I don't see any place to hide in here. Believe it or not, sir, I didn't believe it. Here, in this room. The magician, gone, vanished like a puff of smoke. Except there wasn't even any smoke. He was just gone. That's impossible. Yes, that word. Oh, how many times have I said that word? Even the sound of it causes me indescribable pain. I'm dying. I'm dying over here. Okay. I won't say it again, promise. But you have to admit, it's difficult to vanish into thin air. Did you search the lobby? I searched. Why the pause? There was nothing here at all, sir. That's right, nothing was here, sir. How can he talk so loud and still be hiding something? Is this going to be another Magatama moment? So, Zach was in this room when he vanished. Absolutely, sir. I saw him with my own eyes. That red silk hat, that flowing cape. He ran right in here, right inside this room. Silk hat, cape. That's Zach, all right. It's probably Trucy. But, sir, look at the room. There's not a single place to hide. Sir, that was nothing I could do, but... was nothing, sir. What about now? Have any ideas? Sir! Ideas about what, exactly, sir, if you don't mind me asking? You've had quite a bit of time since then. Has nothing occurred to you at all? Do you have any idea what trick he might have used to disappear like that? Ah, yes, it is Magatama moment time. This is an easy one, though. Cyclops, I should have known. Magatama! Okay, Mr. Meekins. What do you know? Spit it out. Hey, what's with the atmosphere all of a sudden? You know something, and I'm going to find out what. Zach Gramarye vanished from this room. How'd he do it? How, sir? Well, sir, I can't say. Sir? Why are you so nervous as if you aren't hiding anything? Well, sir, you see, at the time, sir, I was here and... Listen, it was impossible. What could such a little girl possibly do anyway? What did you say? Sir, did I just say something, sir? No, you screamed it through that megaphone of yours. There was someone else in the room, wasn't there? Sir, I'm going to have to invoke my right to remain in a state of non-talking. It's okay, Meekins. You don't have to tell me who Zach's accomplice was. I know who was here in the courtroom that day. Trucy Enigmar. Sir, I've never seen that girl until just the other day. Mr. Meekins, I'm not buying it. Oh, sir. Oh, sir, that day, she was here in the room, sir. But he wasn't. You mean you chased her into this room, not him? Sir, in my days as a police officer, literally days, I learned a thing or two. Okay, just one thing, but it was how not to mistake a girl for a 7-foot-tall magician. 7 feet? Zach isn't that tall, is he? You have a point. I find it hard to imagine that anyone would mistake a little girl for Zach Emery. But you saw something, and therein lies the trick. I think you know what it was, Mr. Meekins. Tell me, does this trick look familiar? Ooh. I don't have it. Oh, is it Mr. Hat? It might be Mr. Hat. I think it's Mr. Hat, at least. Okay, we gotta go check our next space now. Oh, I think I just figured it out. It's not gonna be me getting evidence from the past to solve the past. I'm gonna do all the past, and it's gonna sling me into the future, yeah? I think so. Oh, morning, Daddy. Ah, I'm so glad you came. You okay, Daddy? Are they picking on you? Ha 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 ha! I am fine, as always. This old boy here is this old boy is here to help me, after all. That's young man to you. Good morning. That's a cute outfit you have on. Thanks. My first show's today, after all. Did he call me old boy on purpose? To signal to Trucy that I'm the person to give the thing to? I think that's quite likely. 2 weeks have passed since then. I called her into my office. Oh my god, it's the office before it was transformed. This looks so weird now. Trucy, there's something we need to talk about. It's been 2 weeks since your father disappeared. We need to start thinking about your future. I did some calling around. This is hard to say, but you have no living relatives. So, I was wondering if you wanted to stay with me for a while. Just until your daddy comes home. It won't be long. I hope. Of course, it's totally your choice. If you don't like it here, you can go wherever you'd like. I could look up some places you might like to stay at. This is so weird. Mr. Attorney, Daddy told me about you. He said I could trust you. Huh? Really? So, if I stay here, does that mean you'll be my family? Huh? I guess so. Getting weirder. Mr. Attorney? Actually, why don't you just call me Nick? Or you can call me Daddy if you'd like. It doesn't have to be today or anything. Okay, say, Daddy. That was quick. Yes? If I move here, I have to switch schools, right? And I was thinking, I haven't paid for lunches at my last school for a year. So thanks, Daddy. Ah. Oh, and this office, it's a little blah. A little color goes a long way, you know. Ah. Oh, my Daddy, you got fired from work, right? Don't you worry one bit. I'll work twice as hard. We'll make it through this. Trucy, how old are you? Oh, I'm 8. But don't let appearances deceive you. I'm a young professional. Stick with me and you'll do just fine, Daddy. Ah, thanks. Why does it feel like she's already in charge? Alright. Let's see. I don't think she's gonna have any secrets, yeah? So, Daddy, you got fired from being a lawyer, right? You could at least kind of look aside or something when you say that. It's actually kind of hard for me. For Daddy. Oh, I'm sorry, Daddy. Wait, is that foolish pride? My other daddy always used to talk about that. Actually, that's pretty accurate. So here's my idea. We'll make a new office. Law just seems so stiff, doesn't it? And no one will be my friend at school that way. Well, that won't do, I guess. I just don't know much about anything other than law. Or even much about law, if you were to ask some people. Maybe the problem is calling it an office. We should run an agency instead. You mean, like, a talent agency? Forgive me for asking, but doesn't that require talent? You got me, don't you? I'm a professional. A professional? Yep. After all, I'm directly descended from the famous Zach Gramarye. Directly descended. He's your father. Oh, and now I'm directly descended from the famous Phoenix Wright, too. I think an 8-year-old just massaged my ego. Could you tell me a bit more about your daddy? Or Zach Gramarye? Daddy? Sure thing, Daddy. Which daddy was that again? Daddy's so amazing. The biggest star of the troupe Gramarye. And they're so big. The Gramaryes. They were on television a lot. I haven't seen them on much recently, come to think of it. Big magic happens when you put Zach and Valiant Gramarye together, you know. Once they made a giant waterfall right there on stage. And this giant trout swam up the giant waterfall. Well, let me guess, there was a giant fisherman waiting for him at the top? I wish I could have seen more of Daddy's magic. I shouldn't have brought it up so soon. I wonder what'll happen to me with Daddy and Mommy both gone. Mommy? Yeah, what about the Mommy? I haven't heard anything about Tristan's mother. But I have my magic and a great daddy, even if he is unemployed. You know, I think things are going to be A-okay. I wonder if she'll talk to me about her mother. Oh, wrong button. So, Trucy, you're a professional? Yes. It's like that thing they say. Baby frogs grow up to be frogs? They say that? I always thought it was funny, though. What was? Aren't baby frogs called tadpoles? Maybe they thought it would be easier to understand that way for kids. How stupid. Right. So, in conclusion, you are a professional magician, Trucy? That's right. Well, want to see a trick? You're going to do a magic trick? Please, show me. Actually, I'd love to see your trick. The future of the agency depends on it, after all. That's the spirit. Ready? Here goes. Ta-da! Oh, it is Mr. Hat. Hey, folks, it's Mr. Hat. It's gotta say, it's good to be seen. Yeah. Whoa, that was startling. The amazing Mr. Hat. Isn't he great? Your friendly neighborhood Mr. Hat at your service. He, certainly makes an impression. Doesn't he? I'm so glad you like him, Daddy. Well, my routines do get a bit heady at times. Ha? Get it? Heady? My friendly neighborhood Mr. Hat gives me a heart attack. Okay, that's the next step of our psyche lock. And then she's probably going to have a lock here. Can you tell me about your mommy, if it's okay? Mommy was so pretty. She was like an angel up on stage. On stage? You mean with your daddy? Yep. She was always there with Zach and Valiant smiling. But then she went away. Went away? It was a grand illusion. But she made a mistake. She vanished, and I guess she didn't know how to get back. Maybe so. I cried then a lot. That's when Daddy gave me this. Here. Ah, it's the locket. I had almost completely forgotten about it. Oh, there's the earring. So she is diamonds. Got it. This is your mother? She's beautiful. Her name's Thalassa. Thalassa Gramarye. Poor girl. I didn't know her mommy had gone missing. And now her daddy's vanished too, right before her eyes. Hey, Daddy, you won't... Don't worry. I won't vanish. I promise. Right. You can't even do magic. You're like a backup plan. Daddy always said to have a backup plan. I guess all I rate as is backup plan. Okay, good. We got 2 very important pieces of evidence out of this, and not even a psyche lock. Nice. I think that's probably enough for today. Sorry to ask you so much all at once like this. It's okay. After all, we're family. I just hope you're ready. The Right Talent Agency opens tomorrow. What? But are we representing anyone? Me and you. That makes 2, Daddy. I think you need more than that to make an agency. Besides, you may be a magician, but I'm no talent. Oh, I'm sure there's something you're good at. Well, when you put it that way... You mean you don't have any tricks? No old standbys? This will not do. A boy should always have a trick or two in his pocket. Okay, okay, I'll think of something. That's the spirit. See you bright and early tomorrow, Daddy. Welcome to the team, Daddy-o. The team. Right. Okay, nice, nice. We got through one. Sometimes, when magicians vanish, they leave something behind. That's how Trucy became Trucy Wright, my daughter. To be honest, I was pretty lost those first few days. Thinking back on it, it was a pretty dark time in my life. But Trucy, happy, smiling Trucy, she was my light. Alright, let's go to... I can probably finish up Defendant Lobby number 2 now, so let's do that next, and then we'll head to this studio. Oh, wrong button. Magatama time! Let's see, we've already done this dialogue, yeah? Yes, we have done this dialogue, so we'll skip through it, present Trucy, and then for the second one we present Mr. Hat. Trucy! Enigma! Now, for the second one... Here it is, the amazing Mr. Hat. What's that? That girl's favorite trick, the amazing Mr. Hat. She used it in her show down at the Wonder Bar. Have you been to the Wonder Bar? So, it wasn't a waking dream, was it, sir? Come again? That night on stage I saw a vision, except it wasn't a vision. It was a hat. An amazing Mr. Hat. He really exists. Oh, I get my HP back. Nice. I remember it clearly, though the details are a little vague. That Grammar exited the courtroom. I gave chase and cornered him in the corner room, sir. Zack Grammary, don't even think you can escape Meekins. Down on your hands, floor on your head. Hello? Something the matter, mister? No, that is... Sir, I'm currently chasing a suspect, sir. Zack Grammary, do you know him? Oh, I love Zack Grammary. His medic is the best. I'm his biggest fan. I see, that's why you're wearing that costume you're wearing. Anyway, that very same Zack came to this room. But no one's been here except me. But he has to be here somewhere. Under the sofa, in the trash can, behind the painting, under the rug. So, Trucy was his accomplice. Imagine my astonished surprise when 1 week later, I just happened to walk into the bar and see him. Mr. Hat. I couldn't believe my own eyes. For a while, I thought it had all been a long dream. A dream that lasted a week? But it wasn't the magician who disappeared. It was Mr. Hat. And though it seems complex, what really happened that day was quite simple. You were standing by the door, and out came Zack. But that wasn't all. Another person got in on the act, and she was standing in front of lobby number 2, along with Mr. Hat. That's the beauty of it, isn't it? So, while you were standing in shock and amazement, the magician rounds the corner, and most likely runs through the closest door to lobby number 1. This is where you come in. You turn the corner in a rather lukewarm pursuit, and at that very moment, Trucy runs into lobby number 2. Then all she has to do is tuck away Amazing Mr. Hat. Sir, I only lost sight of him for the briefest of moments. Then I saw that cape, Zack Grammary's red cape, fluttering like a cape. Astounding, sir. All my days of posing queries and making inquiries and chasing quarries wasted. It was as if I could see them melting away like an ice cream cone left by the side of the road to die, or the scattered remains of a messily eaten chocolate parfait. Such sweet sorrows. I'm sorry. I had no idea how much you'd suffered on account of this case. It's an honor, sir. I've apologized to people many, many times, sometimes more than once. But this is the first time anyone's ever apologized to me. Actually, about that girl, I'm sort of her guardian now. Is that so? Sir, you should know that I harbor no ill feelings whatsoever in my harbor. Okay. I let the defendant escape. That's the stone of cold truth. There's another step on my way from singing the blues to wearing the blues. Someday, sir, I'll be standing side by side with the great detective Guamshu. Mr. Meekins? This is a free ticket to the show at the Wonder Bar. If you want, it's an honor, sir. Sir, I can't count the number of things I've had taken from me, sir. But no one's ever given me something for free. Alright, I'll see you in the court next time then, sir. I look forward to it. Okay, look at that. Number 2 down. All eyes were on Zach Gramarye that day in court, until his mysterious disappearance. Now, part of the mystery's been revealed, but the magician remained out of sight. It would be 7 years before I would meet him again. Alright. Next. Oh, what? Oh, it's transitioning me automatically. Oh, it's because I unlocked a new section, I see. Alright. To the past. I figured you'd come here sooner or later. I decided on sooner. Drew Misham, was it? I haven't done anything illegal. And I didn't come here to whine about past events. I wanted to ask you some questions. I suppose you have that right. That day, the entire court descended into chaos. Only you stood still, your eyes calmly watching. I admit, it made quite an impression on me. I'm used to finding myself in outrageous situations. Phoenix Wright, was it? I'll answer what I can. I'm not sure, but it feels like I'm being watched. Intensely. Ah, this is my daughter. Vera, say hello. She's gone. Shall we begin, then? Can I look around? I can. Alright, the equipment over here, not as... It's not as... Oh, hold on, hold on. That's a huge bottle. That is ginormous. Well, at least now I have like a sense of scale, I guess. Maybe I'll just sidle on over here for a closer look. So, we gotta check the bottle first. That's a pretty bottle. Ah, don't touch that, please. I'll get in trouble. It belongs to Vera, you see. She always puts it somewhere she can see it. She looks at it often. There's a light pink fluid inside. Nail polish, I'm guessing. That's an awfully small frame. What's that inside it? A stamp? Ah, please, don't touch that. I'll get in trouble. That stamp belongs to Vera, you see. She always puts it somewhere she can see it. I'm assuming it's going to be the same thing for everything on this desk. That's Zach and Valet. The Gramarys, isn't it? The post office issued that commemorative stamp last year. When the Gramarys were at the height of their popularity. Not anymore. Now that one of them has vanished off the face of the earth, I wonder which one of them is going to be our crime doer. Vera went to see one of their shows when she was quite small. She's been a dedicated fan ever since. She watched them every time they came on TV, until the end. I see. That stamp's quite hard to come by, I hear. I still wonder how she got her hands on it. I need to inspect that. Do I get to inspect it in 3D? I assume not. No. Notably, though, number 41. That's the only thing we need to worry about, I think. And what's this red envelope? Ah, don't touch that. It's quite important. The painter's face just changed hues. Guess I'd better behave, though it's tempting to just grab it. This is you and Vera? Yes, yes. We took that one quite recently. I know I'm a painter. Why not paint a portrait instead? I've never been that good at people, unfortunately. Ah, right. Shouldn't you just practice? Okay, come on, Phoenix. Don't be like that. What's up with these? Okay, that's... What's this painting here? Ah, that's one of mine. It's an illustration for a book. It's not on sale yet, of course, but I thought it might be a good business. As a father, I'd like to be able to put food on my daughter's table. Not a feeling I know anything about. At least not yet. I must say, the improvements to his apartment in the future are probably indicative of him taking up the forgery business. In fact, that's the only thing I can think of it being. Judging from this place, you're a painter? Not, sadly, a profitable one. I have never sold a painting. It's a source of considerable embarrassment. I would be able to get by, were it only me. Your daughter? Her mother. Grew weary of me, and left. I don't want her to grow up needy, Mr. Wright. That is why I began my other occupation. Forgeries. Don't look at me with those eyes. I know what it is that I do. More than half the paintings they bring me are stolen. And who knows what my copies are used for. But some of your works aren't paintings, correct? You may not believe me when I tell you this, but that was my first work outside of painting. What? To think it would be used as evidence in a murder trial. I never even imagined the possibility. Then why did you take the job? I was well paid. Very well paid. I think he feels worse about it than I do. The past is hard to escape. Honestly, the sooner I can put this behind me, the better. With apologies to you, of course. Sorry, but it's not going to be quite so easy. He's trying to forget what he made. Looks like I'll have to remind him. Your work. Don't try to pretend you've forgotten. Sure, all you did was make a copy, but that copy might have destroyed the life of an innocent man. I'm responsible too, which is why I have to know. And you have to tell me. I knew it would be difficult to escape this. Oh man, back-to-back yawns. Then, let's talk. Well then, ready to tell me about this work you did? It was unlike anything I had attempted before. I guess it would be a little different from paintings. That is not what I mean. In all my previous work, it sufficed to create a copy. This wasn't a copy? The client gave me two things that day. The first was a sample page as a reference. The second, a printed document I can only surmise was written by my client. So you used the real writing as a reference to reproduce what the client wrote? Yes, as I said, it was my first job of that nature. So, who was your client? As I said in court, I do not know. Really? Even for such a suspicious request? If it was me, I want to know as much as I could about the requester. I never met them, not personally. Ooh, Psyche Lock. 2, got it. Ah, Psyche Lock, of course. Seems like you're still hiding something. Something about this work. Hmm. Magatama time! Wrong button. Magatama time for real! Nope, nope, wrong button again. There we go, Magatama time, the third time. Let's hear it then. What are you hiding from me, Mr. Measham? I'm sorry, but I really don't know. I never met the client. True, when I asked the client's name, there were no psyche locks in sight. Regardless, you're hiding something. You have to be, otherwise it wouldn't make any sense. Why are you doing this to me? Well, I've made my stand, no backing down now. So, what's Measham hiding? Let's see. The forger. I mean, we know this already. I can pretty much piece together what it is from what you said. What is it, then? You told me that you knew about the client, and I couldn't see any psyche locks. Psycho locks? Is that some sort of asylum security? Or a new hairstyle, perhaps? But then they did show up, didn't they? Who was your client? As I said in court, I do not know. Really? Even for such a suspicious request? If it was me, I'd want to know as much as I could about the requester. I never met them. Not personally, Not personally. Those words triggered the psyche lock. Again with those psycho locks. Now I really must know what they are. So you didn't meet this client, but someone else did. Maybe the real forger behind this evidence. Perhaps I'm hung up on this lock business. But I'm afraid you've lost me. Yeah, well, I didn't come here to talk about psyche locks. As long as I come to the right conclusion, it doesn't matter how I got there. And your conclusion is? The real forger behind this wasn't you, Mr. Measham. Poppycock. Who says that these days? I don't know what you're talking about. That's my work, I tell you. Made here in my studio. Who else could have been but me? That's the real question, isn't it? If the forger wasn't you, then I don't have many other people to choose from. The real forger at Drew's studio is... Vera Measham, age 12. The real forger is your daughter, Vera Measham, isn't it? Ridiculous. My daughter's only 12 years old, Mr. Wright. I've always been more one for landscapes, not surrealism. Nice comeback, but you're shaking in your boots. I've got you now. The only two people with access to this studio are you and your daughter. The psych locks tell me you're not the forger, which make your daughter the only possibility. Feel very much on the verge of going psycho lock myself. I don't know how you knew, but you're right. The one who made this page was my daughter, Vera, not I. She's only 12. A genius might call her. A precocious little girl outshining her father. There's been a lot of that going around recently. I let her play in the studio and she watched me. She taught herself in that way. The drafting tools and the analytical devices I bought when they became necessary, they're my little girl's playthings now. Do I detect a bit of fatherly pride? So, Vera was the one who made this page. Would she know who the client was then? Actually, the client came once. Here, to the studio. What? Why did you say so sooner? But their face was covered, and they did not want to talk to me. So, they talked to your daughter? I'll speak only with the artist, the client told me. Then that little girl is the key to our mystery client's true identity. Okay, what do I do now? Maybe I should talk to her father a bit more. Or is it time to turn my attention to Vera? Mr. Measham, I have a request. Let me guess. You'd like to speak with my daughter? Can I? My daughter has never been one to talk to strangers. She's quite shy. Extremely so, actually. With only one exception. Which was, oddly enough, it was that client. I left the studio while they talked. I returned when they had finished, and she was laughing. It was the first time I'd seen anything of the sort. Please, let me speak with her. Alright. Okay, so obviously, I mean, I guess this is just further reinforcing that, what's its name? Grammary Red? Yeah, Zach was the client. Just in case you hadn't figured it out yet. Oh, this one could be tough. Vera, was it? I would like to have a friendly chat. I'm Phoenix Wright, ex-lawyer and pianist. I'm still looking for the keys that say Do Re Mi. Can't find them anywhere. I'm no good at this. I need something to get through this girl. I knew him and Apollo sort of defaulted talking about themselves with her. Let's see. And then there's this. My stamp. Hey, she spoke. She can talk. Yeah, so this stamp. How can I make her keep talking? Isn't Troop Grammary amazing? Ah. Yes? Oh. I especially like those two, Zack and Valent. I mean, they're, just so magical. Aren't they? Aren't they? Yeah, whenever I go to one of their shows, I'm like, whoa, magic, you know? Me too, me too. I love them, they're so cool. It's like magic, yeah. Alright, she's talking. Not saying much, but it's a start. I went and saw them with Father the other day. The opening ceremony at the Grammary Museum of Magic. The Grammary Museum? They have one of those? I guess it makes sense now that they have their own commemorative stamp. So, have you been to one of their shows? Just once, when I was little, with Father. The Grammary's on stage. It was like a dream. Disappearing, reappearing, cutting apart, putting back together. They do it all. Yeah, maybe you can keep telling me stuff like this. You know, about Zack and Valent, maybe? Oh, sure. Alright, better get asking before she changes her mind. They're the best in the world. Huh? Oh, you mean the Troop Grammary? Of course. Father gave it to me. Your father? But I asked him about it. You didn't know how you... I asked him about it. He didn't know how you got it. Oh. I guess I just took it. Yeah. Took it? Father got a letter from that person. That person? You mean that letter was from the client? Oh, we talked about the Grammarys forever that day. I'm sure that's why I was sent that stamp. I didn't want to just send it back, so I took it. They're a sneaky one, this client. So they were trying to get on her good side. So, your father tells me you're good at painting all sorts of things. I really like painting, a lot. Father's always very happy when I paint them exactly the same. So, you did this too? Oh yes, that was my first job. Your first? Your first? All I used to do was paint the same thing I saw. But this was totally different. The pen slips in the way the writer held the pen and the pressure on the nib. I had to use a microscope and analyze it on the computer. She seems happy. Odd. Her work was the last nail in the Grammary coffin. Guess no one told her. I don't go outside much. I like to paint in here. Why don't you like the outside? There's bad people out there. Well, true, but there's lots of good people too. Actually, I should tell you. She was almost kidnapped once. Kidnapped? Since then, she's been... Well, you can see for yourself. She refuses to leave the house. I see. Wait, but that doesn't make sense. She said she went to the Grammary Museum. With you, in fact. Ah, yes, actually, she was quite insistent on it, much to my surprise. That was the first and last time she expressed such a desire to me. That person gave me a good luck charm. A good luck charm? For when I absolutely had to go outside. Yes, apparently she received something. A gift. From that client, actually. She won't tell me what it was. Father, I told you to keep that a secret. From the client, huh? This I have to hear about. It's a tracker, isn't it? What the heck is this? Um, hello there, I guess. Don't know what that message is all about. I'll just keep playing. So, you met the person that asked you to do the job? And you talked with them? What's this about a good luck charm you received? I can't talk about it. Eh? If I do, it won't work anymore. That's what I was told. Yeah, but I really, really have to know. Ooh, locks. Only two of them. Alright. Right, time to do some psyche unlocking. Magatama time! Come on, we're almost done for the day. Let's finish this out strong, yeah? You seem to trust this client quite a lot, in fact. Because they gave you the stamp? No, that's not why. They listened to me, to my problem. The problem that keeps her inside all the time. Don't go outside if you don't want to. That's what they told me. But when I absolutely have to go out, all I had to do was use a good luck charm. A good luck charm that your client gave you? I think I know your client might have given you, actually. Is this your good luck charm? Ooh, I don't think I have this item. I don't. Alright. I guess we get it in the future. Or the present, rather. Unless I can examine something. Am I allowed to examine this now that she's talking? We'll see. Maybe I'll just sidle on. Oh, yeah, I've already read that. Am I allowed to inspect this? No, it's the same thing. Well, I mean, I guess it could be different. We'll try just in case. Okay, nope, same dialogue. So I need to get, I assume, the nail polish entry from in the present. Let's see. What do we got? So detention center. I could inquire about. I need to know who died, but I don't. I do have the entry, I guess. Let's see. We'll go do. Should we do Worshipful Club? You know what? We've been going for quite some time without having internet issues, which is fantastic. But I think we're going to end this here for the day. Yeah, we will. We did a lot. And I think we probably will be able to get this done in one, maybe two more streams. But it won't be tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be Splatoon 3, okay? And it will be open if anyone wants to join. Don't know if anyone's actually here, because for all I know, everyone here is a bot, as usual. But we will be doing that. And then, what? Monday, perhaps? On Monday, we will finish this. And if we can't get it in one sitting, we'll finish it off Tuesday, hopefully. I suppose it sort of depends on the internet issues. If it's like this week so far, then I might have to delay it. Which is unfortunate. Which would be unfortunate. But we're going to hope that doesn't happen. So, anything else to note? I don't believe so. I think that's it. So, with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. This was Seeker the Scuffed, and I am signing off.